Greetings, folks. Iolair here. Today's replay is the first in a trio of aircraft carrier replays that I plan to host this week. This match is courtesy of my colleague USS Erwin M. Fletcher, who is playing the premium tier-VIII U.S. Navy aircraft carrier, the USS Enterprise. This is a tier 10 4-point domination match on Greece. There is some pretty formidable AA on the opposing team, so this is going to pose a pretty significant challenge or potential challenge for a tier 8 aircraft carrier. Now, Erwin's build is pretty typical of an aircraft carrier at this tier. There is a significant focus on improving the torpedoes, and he also takes the torpedo bomber modification upgrade in slot 4 to improve the survivability of his bombers as they make their runs. I think he finds the bombers tend to be the ones that spend the most time in AA during their attacks, so he wants to improve their hit point pools the most out of the 3 attack types. So what are we going to see in this match? Well, obviously I'm going to bring you a match that is hopefully interesting and exciting to watch. This is going to go the full 20 minutes, so like I always say, I hope that I can keep your attention for that time. So he's opening up his engagements here with against the Hipper that is in the Charlie cap, and there's already some pings on the map for him to help try to isolate the Shimakaze that's on the far east flank, and he will end up going over there to find that destroyer to help his team try to isolate things. Now, there is a Allied Friesland that's over there. In fact, Friesland has just activated his hydroacoustic search, so he has, decent enough concealment that he should be able to find the Shimakaze if he needs to, and obviously the hydro is going to give him some protection to be able to avoid torpedoes. Some further pings on the map, probably trying to triangulate the location of the Shimakaze as Erwin is sending his planes further north. Now, looking at the overall tactical situation, the opponents have already taken Alpha and Bravo, so they're starting to gain a material point lead. Well, it's starting to get there. They're definitely obviously gotten a lead, but they are going to pad that lead further the longer they hold those caps. And so far, we have not located the Shimakaze again. So it looks like Erwin's going to head back over to the Charlie cap to continue to work on this Hipper. And there is the Shimakaze. He's actually in that cap. Now, I think if I were the Shimakaze player, that's probably a good move to pull back here because he doesn't have a lot of support. There's a lot of Erwin's allies over here on the east side, and the Shimakaze would be, if he were detected, could get focused out fairly easily. They're beautiful bomber strike with 3 Citadel hits. Yeah, these AP bombs from both the U.S. Navy and Japanese aircraft carriers are very powerful, and he's going to come in here with one more plane. Is he going to get it in? I don't remember. Drops it. Yes, he is going to get another Citadel hit and finish off the Hipper, claiming first blood for his team. So looking, again, coming back to the tactical situation, the Allies have gotten a slight lead now that they've sunk one ship, and they do have a destroyer in the Alpha cap, so at least the opponents are not getting points from that cap, and hopefully the Allies can get that. Now, there's a ping on the map here on the far east side of the map by Erwin, looking to have his allies kind of get off the border and start pressing more towards the center of the map. It looks like we are going to get the Charlie cap, and there's going to need to be, it looks like the focus is probably going to be around the Bravo and Alpha areas. So again, the Shimakaze here, it looks like he's gotten detected. I don't think these are airplanes that are detecting him. I don't know if something else has gotten him lit up, but Erwin's going to come in here with a rocket attack on the Shimakaze. Pretty good hit. Looks like 6 or 8 rockets. I can't quite read that based on what it says on the screen, but he looks like he did get a reasonably good hit. And interestingly, a lot of his planes have survived, so he's going to be able to come in here for at least one more strike on the Shimakaze. Another 4 rocket hits. He's recalled those planes, but he's definitely put the hurt on the Shimakaze. The Shimakaze's down to about a quarter of his health. And Erwin's looking to get some more planes over here, over by Charlie, make sure that his allies continue to try to press that cap. Now, there is a Chapayev that's moving towards Charlie as well, looking to defend his cap, and that's got to be a priority. It looks like he may already be quite wounded as Irwin's closing in here. In fact, the Chapayev is finished off by torpedoes from the Benham, but unfortunately the Benham goes down. So now, oh, I'm sorry, the Benham did not go down. My bad. He will go down later. But the Allies were driven out of the Charlie cap. So the Allies have gotten somewhat of a lead here. They have taken out 3 of the opponents. And the opponents you can see that are on the northwest side of the map have been pushed sharply back with 2 Allied destroyers in the Alpha Cap, probably sending lots of torpedoes. Excuse me, and there's no destroyers to counter them or detect them. That's probably going to keep the west flank pretty well tied up and in the advantage of the Allies. Looks like the Yugumo is attempting to do, well, frankly, a pretty unsuccessful attack on the Salem. It's very difficult to try to, as Irwin gets a second kill by taking out the Yugumo. The Salem, he tried to torp rush the Salem. It's usually very hard to torp rush a ship that's like bow or stern onto you and sailing away. So that's usually not a good way to do it, but as luck would have it, Irwin was able to finish off the Yugumo, but the Salem was forced to be broadside trying to avoid the torpedoes from the Yugumo, and so he was taken out. So Allies do have a 2-ship advantage. They have finally gotten back into the Charlie cap, but the Benham is pressed right up against those islands, and we can see a pile of torpedoes going into a smoke. And the Shimakaze has indeed finished off the Benham, as I incorrectly called when the Chappie was pressing, the Chapayev was pressing that cap. It's actually the Shimakaze that finished him up. Now, Irwin has moved his ship up here. One general piece of advice that a lot of skilled carrier players make is to keep the carrier moving and try to keep it aligned with the fleet. Don't be sort of stationary on the map. Because you don't want to be in a situation where you're isolated, and if your ship gets discovered, you don't have any allies that can come and help defend you. And you also want to obviously keep an eye on where things are going. Now, I know one frustration that a lot of carrier players have expressed is the inconsistency, to be polite, of the autopilot system on the carriers. So players will often pre-program where they want their ship to go so that they can focus on flying their airplanes, but then they only find out, after a minute or two of going in to do some aerial strikes, that their ship hasn't moved, or it's gone to a completely different location, or it's stuck on an island or something. So I know for sure that this has been a consistent complaint, at least I've heard from carrier players. Now, interestingly, the Allies never took the Alpha Cap. So the Shimakaze and the Yu Yang that are over here, the opposing destroyers that are over here on the Charlie cap that Irwin is looking for, were able to successfully defend that cap up to this point. Now, Irwin's planes are detected, so he knows that there is a destroyer around here, but he just hasn't located it yet. So I think he was concerned that either the Shimakaze or the Yu Yang were trying to come down and potentially torpedo him. You see the deep water torpedoes here going across the Charlie cap, so we know that the Yu Yang is east of here, and I think that's what Irwin has been trying to isolate, is where is this Yu Yang, because he would be a significant threat to Irwin's carrier. Oh, there he is. Okay, he's on the port side. So he does have his rocket planes here. Going to circle back around, get the destroyer lit again, and come in for an attack. Now, he realized that he was probably coming in a little too fast. This is often a difficult part of playing with rockets, is that if you go bow in on a ship that's sailing toward you, or if you go nose into a ship that's sailing toward you, you often can't get the attack in by the time you detect them, because by the time you were to launch the attack, they would already be past you. So he does manage to get a very good strike with 10 rockets on the Yu Yang as the Yu Yang was trying to smoke up to get into some concealment. and it looks like he now is going to start backing his ship up so that he doesn't run the risk of torpedoes coming down from the south from the Yu Yang. In fact, you can see here he's focusing on just his ship so that he's looking to manually maneuver the ship to get it into probably a better position and not worry about flying his planes for the moment. Coming back to tactical, the Allies have actually started to fall behind here. They did get the Bravo cap. They are starting to lose Alpha, and until that Stalingrad just went down from the gearing, the Allies had actually fallen behind. Thankfully, like I said, the gearing was able to finish off the Stalingrad, and that gives the Allies the lead back. They have actually successfully defended Alpha, so now the Allies have 3 caps, so that's going to give some further cushion. Here comes another attack on the Yu Yang. Again, these are rockets. I think Irwin has been sending repeated rocket attacks here without alternating from the other attack types, so that he can focus on getting this Yu Yang off the flank, because the Yu Yang is indeed a significant threat. Another couple nice strikes there. He does have enough planes in the sky that he should be able to, in the squadron, to be able to get another attack in on the Yu Yang, but I think this attack, I don't remember, one of these attacks doesn't go so well. Yeah, in fact, this one, I think he fired maybe a tad early, only gets 1 rocket in. Now, the Allies just lost another ship, so they are back even on ship counts, but thanks to having 3 caps, they have maintained the lead. But things are going to remain very tight. In fact, things are going to start kind of collapsing a little bit on the Allies in the not too distant future. I do see an opposing North Carolina moving into Alpha to contest that cap, and something has moved into the Alpha cap. That was strike. I'm not sure what Irwin was trying to get to. Maybe he was trying to free up some of his planes, but he's going to come in for another attack. Oh, no, he's going to recall his planes. The Amalfi thankfully takes down the Shimakaze that had moved into Bravo. So Bravo has been successfully defended. Allies gotten a little more cushion on their lead. Irwin's going to come in here with, again, more rockets. He keeps sending the rocket planes. These are generally perceived as the more effective class of attack against destroyers. And this time he is indeed going to finish off the Yu Yang. Come over here, and for this next run, he's going to attack the Republique. So coming back to tactical, the opponents have moved into Alpha again to contest that North Carolina is back there. It looks like a very close brawl. We obviously aren't over there to see exactly what's happening, but we do now know that the North Carolina was able to finish off the Alsace, but the North Carolina, I believe, is burning. And in fact, yes, he does go down to fires from the Alsace, presumably from the secondaries. Now, this is where things start kind of collapsing on the Allies. There are 2 destroyers, the Friesland and the Gearing, and they're picking on the map desperately because the opposing Des Moines has now just moved into the Bravo cap. And if I were the Gearing and the Friesland, I would just flee. They don't need to be around a radar cruiser with a very high rate of fire. They're just going to get focused out. In fact, the Des Moines is just about to detect the Gearing, if he hasn't already, and is going to finish off the Gearing here very shortly. In fact, we do now see the Gearing's health is being eroded by fire from the Des Moines, and the Des Moines does indeed finish him off. Irwin's coming here with some torpedo strikes on the Republic. I should also note that the second of the 2 North Carolinas on Irwin's team was taken out by the aircraft carrier. So now the Allies actually have a ship deficit. Their lead is very precarious at this point. The Des Moines has moved into Alpha, so it's going to be important that they try to get at least one of these ships down. The Republic is the better choice because he is very low health. The Friesland continues to demand attacks on the Des Moines, with him being spotted by aircraft from the carrier, but there isn't much that, I suppose Irwin could drop some fighters over there, but right now the priority is to try to get ships off the map, which he is able to finish off the Republic for his 4th kill. So between the aerial spotting and then I believe the Friesland started firing his guns. Yes, indeed he is. He has lit himself up for the Des Moines. And the Des Moines is going to be close enough that either between hydro or radar, he is going to keep the Friesland detected, or maybe just through some blind firing, knowing where the Friesland was. He does finish off the Friesland, and now it's just Irwin. And although his team has a narrow lead, this Des Moines has been quite effective in helping to try to turn things around for his team. Irwin's going to leverage the terrain here to limit the amount of time that his planes stay in the Des Moines AA. He's going to drop some torpedoes that are going to force the Des Moines to continue to sail as straight as possible, and then he's going to drop from behind to try to get at least 2 and hopefully 3 torpedoes in on the Des Moines as the Des Moines is accelerating past this island. I think he's going to get, I know he gets at least 1, he may get 2 on there. So the Des Moines historically has had a reputation for very good AA, although, again, and I mentioned this in a number of videos, AA is generally, I think, perceived as being pretty lackluster as of late. In fact, Irwin's aircraft carrier has been surface detected by the Des Moines. So he is going to want to try to move his aircraft. In fact, actually, I don't think it's the Des Moines right now that may be detecting him. It may be the Lexington on the other team. But either way, Irwin's going to come in here with his bombers, and these AP bombers are very effective against cruisers. And he is, in fact, going to make a really nice drop here and finish off the Des Moines, and this is going to give him his Kraken unleashed. So now we have a duel of the carriers, being the sole members of their team. Unfortunately, Irwin's ship has been under pretty constant attack by the Lexington, and so the Lexington has quite a bit more health. This is going to be a little bit of a test of the performance and execution ability of each carrier, and thus is a reflection of the title of the video. So Irwin started off with some rocket attacks, gets a really nice attack with 18 rockets landing, takes out a big chunk of the Lexington, and these two are going to actually get close enough that they are going to be in, well, not exactly a duel of secondaries, but as much as these two carriers can offer up their secondaries in a duel, these are not Graf Zeppelins, but they are definitely going to be in very close proximity with each other. Irwin's obviously shooting down a lot of planes too as he's coming into sort of a constant barrage of attacks. This time he's coming in with some torpedo bombers. I don't remember if he's going to be able to get a second round of attacking. Yeah, he may very well be able to do so. The carriers tend to have very good AA at these tiers. Now he has just activated the hit hard talent, so he is using a Halsey on his Enterprise, and that talent is going to cause the replenishment of his planes to be quite a bit faster. I think it's a 10% boost to his plane replenishment. But at this point, given the time remaining, we're down to just about a minute, and the relatively low health of these two carriers, that benefit isn't likely is not going to help him too much. Does get a pretty good hit there with 6 bomb hits. Going to try to come in with a second round from this squadron. I don't remember if he's going to make it. Again, the AA here tends to be pretty good on these carriers at this tier. No, in fact, he does get 1 bomb away, but it looks like it's going to miss. Here we can see the ships are very close to each other, their proximity detecting each other. We are getting some secondary hits here, but not a lot. But with this next strike that Irwin's going to come in here, he is indeed going to defeat his opponent and get his 6th kill with seconds remaining in a terrific tier 10 domination match on Greece. So very well done. And he earns AA Defense Expert just at the last moment as well. So AA Defense Expert, Kraken Unleashed, Confederate and First Blood, very nicely done. Impressive experience, over 3,200 base XP for USS Irwin M. Fletcher in the premium Tier 8 U.S. Navy aircraft carrier, the USS Enterprise. So I hope you found this replay exciting and an interesting watch as I did, and please do leave your comments below. And as always, we hope to see you out there on the virtual seas, and we wish you happy sailing.